Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call a meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just make a note that Councilmember Brungard is absent tonight. Old business, approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of 20 June 2024 were provided for review. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 20th, 2024 as presented.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard. Oh, sorry. Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Nope. Okay, new business. Item number 2 is comprehensive plan amendments. A Vision for Tomorrow Lansing 2030 comprehensive plan was adopted in December 2014. Since then, the comprehensive plan has not been updated. State statute directs the Planning Commission to review or reconsider the plan in whole or part and may propose amendments, extensions, or additions to the same. Staff is proposing a review of the plan in stages, beginning with a revision of Section 1, Introduction, Select Maps and Tables, and an update to the implementation strategy found in Section 6, Funding Statutes and Implementation. So I need a motion to approve and adopt the amendments to a Vision for Tomorrow Lansing 2030 Comprehensive Plan.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I suppose
Everybody
Josh
read
would
the-
like to fill us in a little bit. Anybody got any questions for him?
Yeah, did everybody read the changes? Yeah.
Pretty well written.
And appreciate the time you spent with me and Kevin
Yes.
yesterday.
Absolutely.
We were
Glad to
there
do
for
it.
a little over an hour. He was taking care of me and Gene and our
Okay.
questions and concerns, so thank you.
Yeah. It was just generally, it had been touched for 10 years. I wanted to get some new, more accurate numbers in and update the plan with some of the stuff that's occurred over the past 10 years. So,
Yeah, I thought it was well written and updated.
Yep.
Okay. Any more questions for? No. Okay. Call the roll.
Mr.
That was
Major,
easy.
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 3 is executive session for economic development. Need a motion to go into executive session for the preliminary discussions of economic development activities, KSA 754319B4 for 15 minutes, beginning at 7:03:04 and ending at 7:19.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion to return to open session.
Second.
Now let the old slow guys go.
Move to return to open session. We already did it.
You got I have a motion and a second to return to open session at 7:19.
Mr. Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
You all right there before I say yes? Yes. Okay.
Motion passed, and there was no binding action taken during that session. All right, reports, department heads. Tony, what do you got?
No, sir.
Nothing, okay. City attorney's absent. Tim's here.
I think Terry,
Oh,
I asked
Terry.
Terry to kind of update you guys on some good news.
Okay. Terry, what do you got?
Well, for over the last few years, about 11 years now, we've been working hard with Northeast Kansas Library System about our accreditation process. And unfortunately, for many years, we were not able to receive the Library Development Accreditation Grant because of the way we were organized as a department of the city. However, I received a letter in the mail from Mike McDonald, and I'll just read a portion of it for you.
We know that guy.
I do, and he has been an amazing advocate for our library up at the regional library system. So he says, I am pleased to formally notify you, sorry, I'm a little excited, that the Northeast Kansas Library System has added a provision to the 2025 Library Development Accreditation Program, which will make your library eligible to receive a library development grant next year. So he says, as you know, several accreditation standards draw from Kansas state statute as it applies to public libraries. Historically, Nichols has not extended the grant to any city library, including Lansing Community Library, whose governing body, the City Council, has exercised home rule to alter a library board's authority as provided in the Kansas statute. This new provision is a compromise and allows a library in this situation to have an incentive to participate in the Library Development Accreditation Grant. The library will still receive a significant grant amount from the regional library in recognition of achievement of the balance of accreditation standards and for the excellent service you provide to Nichols taxpayers in Leavenworth County. Please let me know if you have any further questions. Sincerely, Mike McDonald. So starting next year, we will be receiving the accreditation grant.
All right.
So,
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, Terry.
that's it.
Good work.
Thank you,
Thanks.
very well deserved.
Thank you.
For your work.
Okay. Anyone else? Tim, that you had up.
I think that's all for department heads. One thing that we're looking at doing, we're adding 2 new departments next year, as you guys all know. So we're looking to begin advertisements for 2 managerial level positions. Hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to advertise for a pool manager, ASAP. We'd like that person to be in place during the construction process so they can be familiar with the building, the pool, and everything. We've been talking to Coach Bresser a little bit about the type of person we should be looking for, and he's been very helpful in that process. So hopefully the pool manager position will be advertised very soon. And we're also looking to advertise for fire chief position. As you guys know, I think the current city policy is when there is an opening, we open that up to internal candidates first for the first week and a half or something like that. We would consider folks from Fire District 1 internal candidates. So we will leave it open for about a week and a half just for internal guys to express interest in that job. So be on the lookout for those 2 jobs, or feel free to put bugs in anyone's ear. So I can't remember if we had spoken about this before. I don't know if you guys are super passionate about having a work session on July 25th. We don't really have anything super pressing on that work session agenda, so we could push that back to the August work session. The one thing that we were looking at doing that we're hearing from other cities, with the World Cup coming to Kansas City and possibly the Royals or the Chiefs coming to this side of the border, it sounds like a lot of cities are updating the rules for Airbnbs and VRBOs. And I think that's something that we should probably begin to at least talk about and look at, and if the city needs to be involved in that. So if you guys are okay with that, we can schedule that for the August work session, and then you guys will be free the last Thursday of July.
Sounds
Is
good.
that okay
Sounds
with
good.
everybody? Okay. One thing that came up last week during all of the 4th of July festivities and everything, there was a little bit of confusion with some of our fireworks vendors about whether or not tents were allowed, whether or not tents have ever been allowed, and things like that. The way the current city code reads, it does give permission for a temporary structure with 3 walls to sell fireworks.
The word temporary is not in there, though.
I think it is, but we'll double check. We'll double check. But anyway, I think current staff interpreted that differently than staff who departed 3 or 4 years ago. If it makes that whole process easier and cleaner, I mean, I don't think we have any objections if we just say fireworks cannot be sold out of a tent. You know, that would certainly make it, less nebulous, I guess, if that makes it a little bit more
Make it
clear. But we would be fine with that. We can update the city code to add a statement like that if you guys want and bring that back to you guys. But
What is the purpose? I mean, I think we should always have a purpose. If selling it out of a trailer, where you flip the side up, or selling it out of a tent, what's the difference? I mean, what the purpose of the code?
Three-sided structure.
I got what the code says. What I'm saying is, like, all these codes should have a purpose. Like, you just don't make the code, right? I mean, you could go across the highway over here, and there's a giant tent right there by the river, and it's just an open tent with a bunch of fireworks, and they're selling them like crazy. So, I mean, what is the purpose of having it, I guess is my question. Why are we driving it that way? What's that?
Their code's different than ours, apparently.
No,
Because
no,
if it says 3-sided structure with a roof, so if I attach a tent
No.
to the side of my house and say that's a structure with a
Yeah,
roof,
so you're
and
you're
it
missing my
increases
point.
The square footage of my house, does it increase the value of my house? No, the price is going to say that's a tent, not a structure.
You're missing my point. Okay, I'm not arguing that the code was not violated, all right, based on what we wrote. What I'm saying is, when we write a code, it should have some meaning and make some sense. So what is the purpose
I think
of not letting them do it in a tent?
Because
That's
there
what
was
I'm
a fire in
asking.
a tent years ago in this town, in a fireworks stand. A fireworks stand was in a tent, caught on fire, and they changed the code.
Okay, so in a structure, it wouldn't be that bad? If the structure caught fire, the temporary structure
Like burned down.
is not as bad as a tent fire. I'm just asking, so whatever we do, look up the reasoning on why we made that a code. I mean, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
And I can bring this back for a work session if that's better. But I just more brought this up just because it does seem like it wasn't clear, and I think we had one of our long-term vendors frustrated, and I think we were genuine.
Some of us caught hell over the weekend.
Right.
The
The long-term vendor was forced to give up their tent and build a structure on a trailer because they were told they couldn't sell out of a tent anymore. Then we allowed tents in the city to sell fireworks.
well,
Oh, sure. Well, I can see
and
how
to-
you'd be frustrated.
and to clarify, that fire, and if that discussion took place like 15 years
Right,
ago.
it's prior to most of us. Right.
Yeah, so I mean, prior to almost the entire staff. So
Never heard of it.
when we were told there was this rule outlawing tents, like, we spent staff time looking through old minutes and old ordinances, and we couldn't find anything that said no tents or anything like that. And as you guys have been talking, I've been trying to pull up the code on my phone to see if it does use the word temporary or not. I wasn't fast enough, but I will try to find that. For some reason, I thought it said temporary structures were okay, but you could be right. But I will look at that and try to double check. So, but anyway, I know a few of you guys were aware of those discussions last week. Like I said, city staff is on it. We're aware of the complaint, and we're fine bringing items for you guys to review and consider. So we're good with whatever the council decides.
Tim, I'm not aware of the
Yeah.
complaint. Could you kind of share that with us?
Who was the vendor?
It was a vendor who was one of our longer term vendors, and they thought, and maybe it did happen, but somebody from the city supposedly told them 14 or 15 years ago that we would not allow fireworks to be sold out of tents. I don't have record of that, but the chief did remember there was some type of fire at a fireworks tent, he said, on Main and Emily 14 or 15 years ago. We couldn't find anything in the code that says no tents. So our inspector interpreted something that said temporary structure is okay to mean tents are okay as a temporary structure. That went against what this fireworks vendor was told 15 years ago by somebody who's been gone for years and years and years. So again, I think it was more confusion. I just brought it up to add clarity because again, we want to be fair across the board. And again, I think the way the code was written all of those years ago, it did create a little bit of confusion because some people might consider temporary structure a tent, some people might not consider it a tent. So.
And 7-503B says, no fireworks shall be sold from any other structure other than a 3-sided building with a roof, which building shall be considered so as not to grant immediate or unrestricted access to the interior thereof by customers.
Continue reading.
Huh?
Keep reading. Read the next sentence.
Said building may be permitted or temporary structure. Yeah. If permitted, as building must be all building code requirements and must pass a safety inspection by the city inspector prior to the retail sale of fireworks. If temporary, the building must pass a safety inspection by the city inspector prior to the retail sale of fireworks. So,
It's kind
I mean, you could interpret that anyway.
Yeah, and again, that's the goal is to just make sure it's clear so we don't have this situation again. I don't want you guys getting called Saturday morning either. But again, I think that just led to a little bit of confusion. So
Yeah, we can put that on a work session, just to iron it
That
out.
needs to
It's
be
all
on a
good.
work session. We need
Do
to
that.
specify
Yeah.
a better policy.
Clear.
So we'll talk about
More clear.
Airbnbs and fireworks tents.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's going to be a good one.
It's a good combination. They're all structures.
That's one and the same, right?
Mad, won't we?
They're all structure related. Yes.
Couple other things really quick. Just really proud of the job Ken Miller does with our city's social media and Lansing Connection and YouTube page and all of that. If there's ever city events or anything coming up, be sure to like those city photos, share them if it's certain events, things like that. That's really helpful in getting the word out on things. So we always appreciate it when you guys did that. Josh and I are still talking to folks about residential development, and we are still hoping to have a RHID resolution on the agenda at a future meeting. It sounds like I don't think anything will be ready for this upcoming meeting, but hopefully one of the meetings in August. And so if you guys remember, we did that work session that talked about RHID a few months ago. Basically, that could rebate the increase in property taxes in a new subdivision back to the developer to offset their costs. So in theory, that could lower home prices a little bit and hopefully spark some residential development. The hang-ups that we're hearing right now from developers is just they're not able to make an agreement with some of the landowners in town. I think some of the landowners in town are passionate about their land and want to be sure they sell the land for what they want to sell it for. And that's their right. But some of these builders that we're talking to are trying to make an agreement on some parcels, and they just haven't been able to yet. So that's been delayed slightly. And then lastly, just want to give a big shout out to Josh and his team. Great fireworks event. They did a spectacular job. So just really, really thankful for those guys. And also, Marcus, really enjoyed working with you. It's been a pleasure. You will be missed.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, thanks, Tim. And we'll go around the horn, starting with Jesse.
Yeah, been a pleasure serving with you, brother.
Thanks, brother.
I wish you well and
Thank you.
good times on your Thursdays when you're not sitting up here. It's been good times.
I'll have you out at the country house.
There you go. Awesome. I look for the invitation.
Absolutely.
The fireworks display was awesome. Great time out there. All the vendors were lined up just how they had to be. I mean, everything was perfect out there until the end. And then it was the typical juggernaut of traffic getting out. So honestly, if I was to grade it, it wasn't any better than leaving Ken Bernard Park, leaving the high school. I don't think it was.
I mean, part of the,
Once you left the high school and you got up to the four-way stop, and they had the roadblocks so people could go north, that they should have been go, 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 go.
Yeah.
But people were stopping at the stop sign.
yeah, you got out at the, when I got out, they made us turn south. And then all the cars that had parked along that road to watch the fireworks, you're just kind of squeezing in between there. I was like,
Right.
and then you had to go down to McIntyre and over. I was like, so I'm not sure what the road thing was, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's always difficult to get people in and
It
out
is.
of any place like that. I was just a little confused going south, but
Well,
I guess they also went north, so
yeah, I
we had
was
some
forced
north
to go
and south
north.
truck. Yeah.
And then my son-in-law parked in the ridge. So to get him back to his truck, I had to go all the way up and around and come back through Rock Creek to get him back to his truck. So it was kind of a mess. But
The fireworks were awesome.
The fireworks were awesome. The
Layout.
event was awesome. Just our typical traffic hindrances in Lansing. And we don't have the roads to handle traffic like that. So if it's just once a year, a couple of times a year, it's not really that big of a deal. I just wanted to give my opinion about it. So, but other than that, the city did a great job. Josh, your team is awesome. They did a great job. Now, I've seen everybody out there working really hard. By the way, are all those UTVs, were some of those rented?
No, that's
Are
our
all
new-
those ours?
Those are our new
Our
ones.
fleet.
That's our new ones.
We have that many UTVs?
We have two for wastewater, the brown ones, or the dark gray,
Dark gray.
and the white and red one is Parks and Rec.
Right. Wow. I didn't realize we had that many. That's nice. Those things come in handy. So.
Yes, they do.
But good job, guys. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, Jesse. Pete.
Just a couple of weeks before, we had the event at the 10 and 2 where we had the concert, and a lot of the Lansing residents, that especially my neighbors, told me what a great time that was. And then you throw in the 4th of July, and we're really bringing the community together, and everybody's starting to. It's summer, and they're getting excited, and then it was just a great experience at the 4th of July. The fireworks especially, but all the different events and the vendors for cooking. I just got a lot of great compliments from my neighbors and some of the residents in our ward. Marcus, we're going to miss you, man. I'm going to miss you. The library, thank you for everything you do. That's your initiative. You can just tell by every time I've met with you, we know how excited you are about the library and what it brings to the city, and it really does make a difference. And we thank you for stepping out and making sure that we get the grant so that we can even make it better than it is today. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the staff. I missed last meeting, and I missed some of the notes, and I made a comment that I'd really like to catch up. And Beth jumped and said, Pete, I'll meet with you anytime. And in fact, she made her schedule available so I can go and talk to her tomorrow. So that's just an example of how blessed we are in this city to have such great employees. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Dan.
I want to echo on the 4th. I heard even from the American Legion, the flag lines, they wanted to change because a lot of people went down the stairs and they kind of missed the flag line. So they may be approaching you for a better position. But that's the worst of the comments that I've received. I mean, everybody loved it. They loved the food. They loved the area. They thought the fireworks itself was great. So nothing but kudos, Josh, you and your team. Terry, congratulations on your achievement there. That speaks well of you and your staff. And I want to give a shout out to Beth too, because I had some questions on financing, and she took me to school, and I appreciate you spending the time with me. Marcus, I appreciate your counsel, your mentorship, and your friendship. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
All right, thanks. Don.
How do you follow all of that?
I don't know.
No, I
Turn into an
talk
hour
about
meeting.
fireworks. I got nothing but compliments. Even some people called me later. other citizens called me and said what a great venue it was, that they really had a good time out there, whatever. Didn't really hear any complaints about traffic or anything else like that. And always kudos to the library. Ever since we hired that young lady back there, she's really made that library go, and we want to keep that going. So, good job. And of course, with the budget and Beth and the money, yeah, she takes us all to school just about every year. So that's whatever. Marcus, been good working with you, buddy.
Thanks, my
Gonna
friend.
miss you. The ward's gonna miss you, but we'll get by somehow. Good luck to you. Whatever you got to do after.
Thanks, sir.
That's all I got, Mayor.
All right, thanks, Don. Kevin?
Yes, Terry, congratulations on your work. You well deserved. Ken, the communications here is continually updated, and people not only have one or two areas where they can find out what's going on, but several now because of what the work that you've done over the last 15 years. And as fast as you get the information out is also a blessing for the whole city. And Marcus, been an honor and a privilege.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks, sir.
Kevin? Gene?
Terry, congratulations. Josh, it was great. I think the location is the best location we've had because we got to park all the food trucks on solid ground. You know, it was raining that morning, and I was really worried about what was going to happen, and I think that setup worked out very well. So, Tony, thanks for coming to a meeting and not asking for any money.
I passed that torch on to Gene.
Tim, as always, thanks. You know, you talk about communicating with the staff, and I have found the staff, the department heads, and whoever always ready to sit down with you and let you know what's going on and why it has to be that way. So to hear some of the newer guys talk about it, it's no surprise to us that have been here a while. That's just the way they are. That's the way it's been. And so you're going to leave. Thank God. It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure sitting next to you.
Thanks, sir.
We'll miss you, and we'll hopefully get your seat filled with somebody maybe half as good as you if we'll be lucky. So thanks and good luck.
Thanks, Gene. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Is that it, Gene?
Yes.
All right, nice. Don't want to cut you off or anything. Thank you. And I left it to Marcus for last. I think we already said farewell to you. I think you already gave remarks, but I'm opening it up now so you could say a few others if you'd like.
4 scores, 7 years.
He's reminding me
Hey,
to be.
so this is my last one. This is my last one.
It is.
I may be smiling and excited about it, but really, I'm smiling and excited because we've been so successful. And I use the word we in all caps. We have been successful. It's truly been an honor and privilege to serve with each and every one of you, to include our past and our present and our Dave Trinkle. Huge impact. So, with that being said, Tim Vandal, son, you lead an incredible staff. You have to endure all of my compliments all the time, and compliments to all the staff. So I'm going to do it again. And you've heard them all tonight. And I'm going to do it again. And every time I see you in public, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to thank you and every single one of our city staff and our city leaders for what they do, because they're incredible. So this goes out to all our city staff, our first responders, our police, and all of our police that are out there, our fire, EMTs. You know, you got Beth and Terry and Josh and Ken and Tony and Mike, our city council, our mayor. I mean, it's just truly, and I know I'm leaving some off, but it's truly been an honor and a privilege to be able to be up here and serve with all of you and serve our community and make great things happen. And the only reason I did this was to try to make a positive difference in our lives. That was the only reason. So I ran a campaign objective on just a few things, and we did them. I give me an A- on the town center because we're still working that. But we've done great things on it, right? But the rest of it I give an A+. We got roads, we got curbs, we dig rock, we got sewage going all across, you know. Well, we got water running. We got business coming in. We got a pool going in. We finished the parks and rec, and things are happening. Fiber optic, 5G, and the list goes on and on and on. And we did all these things, of which there was a year and a half of COVID that really slowed us down. But it didn't slow the city down. This city is truly a city with a future. It truly is. And it can't be done, Mayor, without you and all these leaders. And with that, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call roll.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Are you done? Yes.
We are adjourned.